Hi, I'm Alex, 31, and a few weeks ago I found out the only thing holding my family together was my credit card. It all started the night I drove 5 hours back to my hometown for what my mom calls our early Christmas dinner, which always happens on Thanksgiving because it's just more convenient, Alex. Everyone's off work. She says it every year like it's a genius hack instead of just wildly confusing. I almost turned the car around twice on that drive. Not even gonna lie. But guilt? That's a strong fuel. So I showed up. With a bottle of wine I couldn't afford and a fake smile I'd barely managed to tape onto my face. Dinner was the usual mess. Loud, chaotic, football blasting on TV, overlapping conversations, that one cousin making weird crypto pitches, everyone pretending we're one big happy Hallmark family. And I was surviving it. Until my mom stood up, clapped her hands like she was hosting a damn game show, and pulled out a big glittery gift bag. One by one, she handed out presents. My dad got a new fishing watch. My aunt got a custom cutting board with her name etched in it. My sisters got fancy candles, one of those $300 spa day gift cards, and some designer perfume. There were hugs, thank yous, laughter. And then the bag was empty. I just sat there, waiting. Surely she forgot one. But she didn't even look at me. So I asked, as casually as I could, "Hey, was there one for me?" And my mom didn't even hesitate. "Be grateful you're even at this table," she said. Like I was lucky to even be on the guest list. My uncle, funny guy Chuck, chimed in with, "We're lucky he remembered how to get here." And the whole table roared like he just dropped the Netflix special of the year. My ears burned, but I nodded. Said, "Good to know." And that was it. No drama. No tears. Just that. I left early. Drove back to the city in silence. And I decided something had to change. Because what happened next? That's when the real story started. When I got back to my apartment, I dropped my keys on the counter, tossed the unopened wine in the trash, and sat on the kitchen floor just staring at my phone. I wanted to text the family group chat. I wanted to say everything. How they embarrassed me, how that dinner was a slap in the face, how I felt like a stranger in my own family. But I knew how it would go. I'd be overreacting, dramatic, or my personal favorite, ungrateful. So instead I texted Sam, my best friend since college. He called within 30 seconds. I told him everything. From my mom's little, "You're lucky to sit here," dig to Chuck's classic roast about forgetting my name. There was this long pause and then Sam, in his deadpan voice, said, "Dude, that's not a dinner. That's a hostage situation with cranberry sauce." Then he added, "You do realize they don't respect you at all, right? Like that wasn't just rude. That was on purpose mean." Something about hearing that out loud flipped a switch in my chest. While we were still on the phone, I opened my banking app. I started scrolling. Gym memberships. My mom's yoga studio. My dad's golf streaming service. My little sister's concert tickets. Monthly auto payments for Disney Plus, Netflix, and a Prime account I'd barely used but somehow always got birthday messages from. All of it tied to my card. All of it started with, "Can you just put it on your account for now? I'll pay you back later." Spoiler alert, later never came. Sam said, "So what if you just stopped?" I blinked. Stopped? Yeah. What if you let them feel what it's like to actually lose access to you? The idea scared me. But it also felt good. Like weirdly good. That weekend I sat down with my laptop and a notebook and made a list. Every recurring charge, every little favor. Every moment I let them turn my generosity into obligation. And then I started canceling. One by one. Click. Cancel. Click. Remove card. Click. Buy. I didn't announce it. I didn't make a speech. I didn't throw it in their faces. I just let the systems they depended on start to quietly collapse. 3 days later, my mom called me in the middle of my lunch break, straight to the point. Alex, my gym card got declined. Did something happen with the payment? I took a deep breath. Yeah. I cancelled it. You'll have to set it up in your own name. Silence. You know I go to those classes for my health. She snapped. You know I count on that. And you also know what you said to me at dinner. I said. I'm done paying for people who mock me. She gasped like I'd slapped her. How dare you use money to punish us? That night my dad called. The Disney Plus isn't working. It says we need to update the payment. Did you mess something up? Nope, I said. I just stopped paying. You're grown adults. You can figure it out. He got quiet. Then dropped his go-to line. Family takes care of each other, Alex. I replied. Exactly. That goes both ways. That's when the group chat started lighting up. And they hadn't even hit the desperate stage yet. The group chat exploded like I'd burned down the family tree. Passive-aggressive messages came in waves. My mom sent a long paragraph about how some people forget who raised them. How her mental health depended on yoga. Like I'd just canceled her medication instead of a $45 membership she never paid for. My dad chimed in with his usual classics. About sacrifice, loyalty, and how I wouldn't even have my big city job if it weren't for the foundation we gave you. That's code for we didn't actively ruin your life, so you owe us forever. My sisters joined in with emojis and guilt trips. One of them wrote, Imagine choosing Netflix over your own mom. Which was hilarious considering they were the ones watching Love Island on my account like it was a full-time job. Another dropped the all-time hit. You've changed. You used to be nice. The crying emoji really tied it all together. I muted the chat. Again. 10 minutes later, Sam texted me. Dude. Check your sister's Insta. And there it was. A black background, white text. Some people cut off their own blood over money. Never forget who was there before your paycheck. My mom commented. So sad but true. Love you, baby. Cousins chimed in with things like, family over everything, and money can't buy loyalty. Like we were in some mafia soap opera. They were already rewriting the story. In real time. Turning themselves into victims. Making me the villain. The ungrateful, big city traitor who abandoned his poor innocent family. No mention of the dinner table humiliation. No mention of the years of, can you just put it on your card? No mention of me paying for their comfort while they laughed in my face. I set my phone down and just sat. The hum of the office around me, fingers clacking on keyboards, people sipping coffee. And I realized something brutal. I had spent years terrified of being called ungrateful. So I kept giving, kept paying, kept swallowing my resentment just to prove I wasn't selfish. And now that I had finally said no, they were calling me ungrateful anyway. That night I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I opened my laptop, logged into my bank, and pulled 5 years of statements. Every subscription. Every family Uber. Every emergency concert ticket. Every auto-renewed favor. Then I opened a spreadsheet. And I started building a case. Not for them. For me. I didn't stop until 2 a.m. There I was, bleary-eyed in sweatpants, surrounded by old receipts and screenshots, highlighting line after line of, Can you get this? I'll Venmo you tomorrow. Tomorrow, apparently, was a fictional day. I categorized everything: fitness expenses, mom, sports and streaming, dad, concerts and festival tickets, sisters, one-off, emergencies, car repairs, flight changes, pet sitting fees when they conveniently forgot to pay the actual sitter and I had to help out. Color-coded. Labeled. Totaled. The final number? $18,731. 58. $18,000. Not including emotional labor, by the way. The next morning, I typed up an email. Subject line: Since we're talking about who owes what. I took a deep breath and started writing. I told them I was grateful for the roof over my head as a kid, the food, the help when I was young. I wasn't pretending I raised myself. But I also made it clear, gratitude doesn't equal eternal debt. Then I pasted the spreadsheet. And I wrote, if you're going to call me selfish and ungrateful for canceling services that were never yours to begin with, at least look at the numbers. And ask yourselves honestly, who has been taking care of who? I didn't hit send right away. I stared at the screen for a good 10 minutes. Heart pounding. Palms sweaty. I felt like I was about to jump out of a plane. And then I clicked. The fallout was immediate. My mom replied first. Subject line: how dare you? The body of the email was a wall of text where she called the spreadsheet manipulative, cruel, heartless. Said I was putting a price on her love. Claimed I was attacking her as a mother. My favorite part? I am so ashamed of who you've become. Then she blocked me on Facebook. I only knew that because Sam sent me a screenshot of her latest post, a stock photo of a sunset with a quote about family being forever even when some members forget. The caption? So thankful for the children who still know what loyalty means. And the comments? A full Greek chorus of sympathy. You're such a good mom. Don't let the selfish ones break your spirit. You deserve better. Meanwhile, the woman was running an emotional Ponzi scheme and I was the only one who pulled my money out. I sat there in bed, staring at the ceiling, shaking. Not from fear. From clarity. They were never going to wake up one day and say, "You're right. We treated you badly." That version of the story didn't serve them. They needed me to stay the villain, so they could stay comfortable. And the only way to win? Was to stop playing. For the next week, I didn't hear a word. No calls. No messages. No surprise visits. It was the quietest Christmas lead-up I'd had since childhood, and I didn't trust it for a second. Sam and I ordered Thai food on Christmas Eve and watched the worst action movie we could find. Halfway through, I finally let myself exhale. Maybe they got it. Maybe the spreadsheet hit harder than I thought. And then, the buzzer rang. At first, I thought it was a delivery. I hadn't ordered anything, but hey, maybe Sam did. Then my phone lit up. Dad calling? Decline. Mom calling? Decline. Then the buzzer again. Longer this time. Like someone leaned on it. My stomach sank. I walked over, pressed the intercom button just enough to hear the chaos below. "Alex, we know you're in there. Buzz us in." My mom's voice, shrill but trying to sound sweet, like this was all perfectly normal. I froze. 30 seconds later, I heard a knock at my apartment door. Which meant they had sweet-talked or guilt-tripped someone else into letting them in. I peeked through the peephole and yep, there they were. Mom, Dad, and of course, Uncle Chuck, holding a shiny red gift bag like we were filming a commercial for passive-aggressive reconciliation. My phone started ringing again. I let it ring. Then came the knock. Polite at first. "Alex, honey, open up," my mom said, her voice just loud enough for the neighbors. "We brought you something. Just want to talk before Christmas." I didn't open the door. I said through the wood, "I don't want to talk. You need to leave." The fake sweetness cracked instantly. My mom's voice rose. "We drove 5 hours to be here, Alex. The least you can do is open the door." Dad joined in. "We're not doing this through a door. Grow up," I said again calmly. "You don't get to humiliate me and then show up with gift bags like that fixes everything. Please leave." That's when the knocking turned to pounding. "You hear yourself?" Mom yelled. "This is what that city has done to you. You think you're better than us now?" She started crying. Loudly. Dad snapped. "Family deserves respect. Open the door and face us like a man." The irony nearly knocked me over. They treated me like a wallet with legs for years, and now I was the one who needed to man up. I texted my sister. Just 3 words. "They're at my door." She replied immediately. "Just open it. Don't make this worse." Mom's freaking out. I typed back. They showed up uninvited. That's on them. Through the door, my mom started again. We brought you gifts, Alex. We didn't forget you. This is what you wanted, right? Attention? I said flatly. I didn't want gifts. I wanted an apology. For what you said. For how you've treated me. Silence. Then Mom snapped. Oh my God! Are you still on about that? It was a joke, Alex. Normal people can take a joke. That was the moment I knew, really knew, there was nothing on the other side of that door for me. I said, You have 10 minutes to leave, or I'm calling building security. My mom wailed. My dad muttered something about insanity. Chuck, of course, laughed. But 20 minutes later they were gone. And a neighbor slid a note under my door. Hey, everything okay? That was loud. Yeah. It was. And it was just a warm-up. The next few days were almost peaceful. Group chat? Quiet. Voicemails? None. Surprise family invasions? Zero. For a second, I let myself believe the storm had passed. I went back to work, grabbed coffee with Sam, even booked a therapy session. I started to feel like a human being again, one who wasn't responsible for a small, emotionally unstable economy built entirely on guilt and Netflix logins. And then, it started again. First, voicemails. My mom crying, saying she couldn't sleep, her blood pressure was through the roof, and the doctor said stress like this could kill me. Alex, is that what you want? My dad followed with colder messages. You're breaking this family. You owe us a conversation. You owe us that much. When I didn't respond, they escalated. Random local numbers started calling. I picked up one, thinking it was work, and got ambushed. Nice to know you can answer your phone. My mom sneered before I hung up. Then came Uncle Chuck, leaving rambling voicemails about how you can't just cancel family like a magazine subscription. Cool line, Chuck. Did you rehearse that in the car? My younger sister started posting vague TikToks with sad music and captions like, Being abandoned by your own sibling hits different. Sometimes blood hurts more than strangers. No names, of course. But enough breadcrumbs to lead a trail. Strangers filled the comments with sympathy. You deserve better. Cut toxic people out. Your brother's trash. I guess I missed the part where I walked out of dinner laughing at them and not the other way around. Meanwhile, the effects of Operation Unsubscribe were finally being felt. Mom's gym emailed asking for a new payment method. My cousin texted me. Your dad's been ranting about you at the club again. Something about ungrateful kids and paying hospital bills. Apparently, my decision to stop bankrolling their lives had triggered enough stress to send my mom to the ER. She was fine. But now I was to blame for her hospital bill too. It was like dominoes falling. And none of them knew how to stand on their own. One night, I reopened the spreadsheet. Not just the charges, this time, I added a new column. Behavior since I stopped. Guilt trips. Surprise visits. TikToks. Emotional blackmail. Seeing it all laid out like that made something click. This wasn't just dysfunction. It was a system. A machine that only ran as long as I stayed plugged in. And I had finally pulled the plug. 3 days before New Year's, I came home from the grocery store and saw their car again. My stomach dropped. I turned the corner and boom, there they were. My mom, my dad, and Chuck standing outside my apartment like they were security guards for a club I wasn't cool enough to enter. My mom's face lit up with fake relief. There he is, she said, like I'd been missing for weeks and not just ignoring their calls. She took a dramatic step forward. Do you feel proud? Calling security on your own mother? I clutched my grocery bag, kept my keys in my hand. You're not supposed to be here. You need to leave. We're not leaving, my dad said, voice tight. We drove all this way because you won't pick up the phone. You owe us face to face. I don't owe you anything, I said. You've made it very clear how you feel about me. My mom got louder. We are fighting for this family. You're hiding in your little box pretending we're villains while we're trying. While we're bringing you gifts. Trying to save us. She pointed toward my door like it had personally offended her. Chuck leaned on the wall, arms crossed, and grinned. You think these people, he gestured toward the other apartment doors, care about you more than your blood? He took a step closer. You don't cancel blood, Alex. I looked him dead in the eye. Blood isn't a subscription. You don't get automatic access just because we share a last name. My mom scoffed so hard I thought she'd throw out her neck. You twist everything. You've decided we're abusive just so you can feel justified walking away. And that's when my neighbor, sweet retired lady from down the hall, opened her door. She was filming. Silently. Calmly. Watching. My dad stepped in, closer than he should have. Here's what's going to happen, he said. You're going to pack a bag. You're coming home with us for New Year's. And this little act ends now. My back hit my apartment door. My voice shook, but it didn't break. No. I'm not going anywhere. You've been told to leave me alone. You're harassing me. That's when my mom slammed her palm into the door beside my head. Loud. Sharp. Deliberate. You call this harassment? She snapped. We gave you life. You wouldn't have anything if it weren't for us. You owe us respect. You owe us your presence at holidays. You owe. And then Chuck reached out and put his hand on my shoulder. Not a punch. Not a grab. Just a little shove away from the lock. But it was enough. Enough to say, you still don't get to decide. I knocked his hand away and said loud and clear, do not touch me. That's when my neighbor's voice cut through the hallway like a foghorn. I'm calling the police, she said. This is the second time they've come here and screamed at you. I've got all of it on video. My mom whipped around like a vulture in a blouse. This is family. It's none of your business. My neighbor didn't even blink. You made it everyone's business the second you showed up yelling. And then we heard it. Sirens. Distant but getting closer. My mom turned back to me, her tone flipping instantly, sweet, pleading, manipulative. Alex, stop this. Tell them it's fine. Tell them not to come. You want your uncle arrested? Your mother to have a heart attack in the hallway? Is that what you want? I looked her in the eyes. I thought about the dinner. The laughter. The spreadsheet. The voicemail guilt. The hand on my shoulder. And I said, I want you to leave. If you didn't want police involved, you shouldn't have come back. The officers arrived in under 3 minutes. 2 of them. Calm. Professional. 1 male, 1 female. They stepped out of the elevator into the hallway and took in the scene, my parents, my uncle, my neighbor holding her phone steady, and me, shaking slightly but still standing between them and my door. The taller officer looked at me. Do you live here? Yes, I said. They're my family. I've told them multiple times to stop coming. Security already warned them. They keep showing up. They've put their hands on me. I don't feel safe. The shorter officer turned to my neighbor. You said you have video? She nodded and played a clip. You could clearly see my uncle touching me, my mom slamming her hand against the wall next to my head, and all 3 of them yelling. That was all they needed. The tall officer turned to my family. You need to leave. Right now. You've been warned. This is harassment. You don't get to show up, corner someone, and put your hands on them just because you're related. My mom started sobbing, full Oscar performance. We're just concerned parents. We didn't hurt anyone. This is our son. My dad tried to argue. He's blowing this out of proportion. We have rights. I'm his father. Uncle Chuck mumbled something about soft cops and disrespectful kids. The officers didn't care. They separated Chuck, took his ID, and wrote him a formal citation. A real one. Harassment. He was officially on record. Watching that man, who'd spent years making fun of me, laughing at my boundaries, watch him be told he was the problem. That did something to me. For once, I wasn't the one being shamed in front of everyone. As they escorted them to the elevator, my mom clutched her chest, muttering about dizziness. The officer asked if she needed an ambulance. My dad said, "I'll take her to the ER myself." Later, I found out she did go to the hospital. Stress and high blood pressure. My dad was furious about the bill. The citation. The whole thing. Management slid another notice under my door confirming what happened and reminding me I had grounds for a restraining order if I wanted to pursue it. That night, a cousin texted me. "People are talking. I saw a video. You okay?" And for the first time in months, I answered honestly. "Yeah. I'm okay. Better than before." Because for the first time, the consequences of their behavior didn't fall on me. They fell on them. Christmas passed in silence. New Year's came and went without a single message. And that silence? It wasn't punishment. It was peace. In the following weeks, I started putting my life back together. Slowly. Quietly. Without the buzzing of guilt or chaos constantly in my ear. Through the grapevine, I heard the fallout. My mom's doctor told her to cut back on stress or she was going to do serious damage. She started asking coworkers for help with finances. Had to learn what autopay even meant. My dad sat on hold with customer service for hours trying to reset passwords he never cared to remember. And Chuck? Yeah. That video got around. A lot of people at his golf club saw it. It's hard to play the charming uncle when there's footage of you getting written up by police for harassing your nephew in public. My sisters? Stopped posting flashy selfies. Started talking about extra shifts and budgeting. Reality was sinking in. The invisible net I'd been holding them in for years? Gone. And now they had to walk on their own. The craziest part? When the dust settled, I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. I started therapy. Joined an online support group. Read stories that sounded a lot like mine, about families who disguised control as love, who called boundaries betrayal, who only showed up when you stopped giving. And one day, months later, I got an email from my mom. No subject line. Just, "I'm sorry things got so bad between us. I don't agree with how you handled everything. But I miss you. I hope you're okay." It wasn't the apology I needed. But it was something. I replied. Simple. Honest. I told her I was okay. I hoped she was too. And if we ever talked again, it would be on my terms. No guilt. No yelling. No pretending. I said I was open to a conversation, maybe one day, with a therapist present. But I wasn't going back to being the wallet. Or the punchline. Or the grateful little doormat at the holiday table. Not anymore. Here's what I know now. Family isn't a license. Love without respect is just control in a costume. Boundaries aren't betrayal. They're survival. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Not to punish them, but to save yourself. Because no one should have to beg to be treated like a person. Especially not by the people who claim to love you. The end.